What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Series 70 Dolph Ziggler. And so here we have Dolph Ziggler posing out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Dolph Ziggler does come with 2 pairs of hands. He does come with a pair of wide open hands. And then we also do get a pair of grip hands for Dolph Ziggler. We also do get a soft goods jacket, which is silver and looks really good on him. And then it does have his Forever Rebel design on the back. Other than that, Dolph Ziggler here doesn't come with anything else. Maybe a pair of fists would have been nice, but I'm perfectly okay with that. So with that out of the way, guys, let's move on to his details. And so here we do have a closer look at Dolph Ziggler. And I have to say Mattel has done a really good job with Dolph Ziggler. He's actually one character that they have had a lot of trouble in the past getting it to look like Dolph Ziggler. There was nothing wrong with the Elite 48 head sculpt, just the paint-ups were a little iffy. This looks much more like Dolph Ziggler, and I do like it. They finally decided to add the highlights to his hair as it should be, rather than just making it completely blonde or just one color. They finally added the highlights, so I do like that. You can see it is darker on the edges right there. Hopefully we see more highlights with figures because it does add to the figure much more. Again, face sculpt is done really well, and with the real effects technology you can see it looks a lot like Dolph Ziggler, even down to his 5 o'clock shadow, which is something they didn't really have to include. So overall, really excited about how nice that head sculpt looks on Dolph Ziggler. Now, for the body, they continue to use this really ripped torso for Dolph Ziggler, which I don't have a problem with. The only problem I have are the arms that they use with him. Dolph Ziggler's arms aren't really that shredded. I know his torso is, but his arms really not that much. And plus, these arms aren't really the best ones to use because they do hinder a lot of articulation. So I kind of wish they went with the thinner arms for him. But they do look nice, and the wrist tape is painted cleanly. It's a little bit fuzzy on the edges, but that's what we've come to expect. You can see his wrist tape is here. A little bit splotchy in some places, but overall, I think it's pretty good. Now, this isn't the Chase variant. The Chase variant has the pink tights. This is just the standard release, which does have the Intercontinental title printed across it, which does look good. I do like that. We do have the Forever Rebel or Rebel Forever, whichever one you want to look at it. On his right leg, we can see it does say Hollywood going down his tights, all the way down to his knee pad. Something I'm surprised about is that they didn't continue the Hollywood on the leg itself. They just left it on the knee pad, and that normally when they do that, they continue it down the leg, so don't know why they didn't do that. And then we have the Beverly Hills logo right here. You can see it's done really nice. We have the skull with the horns on it. Really do like that. We even get it right here on his knee pad. Although technically he shouldn't be wearing knee pads. His knee pads are underneath his trunks, but I do understand why they gave him knee pads. It just works better that way. And then the only point that I have to deduct points on is the boots. These are really old Dolph Ziggler boots, and I really wish they would update the sculpt because they painted the lines on the straps, and that's not how it's supposed to look. You can still see the buckles on his boots. They really need to update the Dolph Ziggler mold so that they actually do have the proper boots. You can see the buckles from like that really old mold. Really is a little bit jarring, especially when you see that they painted the line work, but it's the wrong boots. Hell, even just the regular kick pads with this would have been acceptable because that doesn't really look that clean. So the boots are the only point of contention I really have with this figure. But other than that, it's a really nice looking Dolph Ziggler figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we do have Dolph Ziggler posed next to an Elite Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And so here we have the Elite 70 Dolph Ziggler posed next to the Elite 48 Dolph Ziggler. And you can see how far we've come since the release of this figure. This paint looks much better than that one. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation, in which Dolph Ziggler does sport the standard Elite articulation. If you don't know what that is, let's run through it really fast. He does have a ball joint in the head, although it sits kind of low, so we really don't get too much upward movement. We do get a little bit of downward movement, and we do get some slight head pivot, so I do like that. Head does rotate, no problem. The hair is a nice soft material, so it's not going to hinder any of the articulation. Arms are on a ball joint and kind of stiff. They don't go out all the way horizontal. I think it's the mold of the torso that's preventing it, but it goes out far enough. It does do a full 360, no problem. We do get rotation at the bicep. We do have less than 90 degrees at the elbow, and that's why I really don't like these biceps that they use for Ziggler, because it really doesn't give us the full 90 degrees, unfortunately. He does have a swivel and hinge in the wrist, and that's no problem. We do have an ab crunch, which does go back about that far, goes forward about that far. I really do wish they gave the elite figures more of a deeper crunch. Waist swivel works fine. Legs do kick forward to about there, kick back, go all the way out, so you can have Dolph throwing out those super kicks. We do have thigh swivel up high. We do have double bend in the knee. Would go further, but of course his knee pad is hindering some of the movement, so that's to be expected. We do have rotation in the boot. Hinge in the ankle, goes back and forward. And then of course we do have some rocker ankle. So overall, really good articulation here on Dolph Ziggler. So what we're going to do now is get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Elite 70 Dolph Ziggler posed for my final thoughts. Overall, this is a really nice figure, and the jacket actually came out better than I thought it was. I originally thought it was going to be a cheaper material, but the pleather that they used with it is actually one of the better softer goods that we've seen on a WWE figure. Now, I really do like the way this figure came out, although I do have to knock off points for the boots. Really wish they would update Dolph Ziggler's boots, because the clips, they just don't work. Those boots are completely incorrect, and they painted the lines on them, so why not just make boots specific for Dolph Ziggler? It's just one of those things that I'll never understand, but that's not taking away from this figure. This is actually a really good update to Dolph Ziggler, and it's been a while since we've gotten one in our collection to update his Elite releases. If you can find this Dolph Ziggler, I really do recommend you add him to your collection, especially if you're trying to update your figures. This Dolph Ziggler has a really nice head sculpt, and they finally did his hair properly, where he has the highlights and the dark and the lights do complement each other nicely. And the face on this figure is done really well. At the time I'm making this video, Elite 70 is kind of getting harder to find in stores, so if you can find it, definitely pick this Ziggler up. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, don't forget to check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.